What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Shady Corner, featuring the people, places, and spaces of the greater Shady Hollow community. And my name is David Schneider with Revel Property Group. And on today's show, we have one of the top mortgage professionals in the city of Austin, Ryan Leahy of Hometown Lenders of Texas. Ryan, you and I have had a relationship that spans over 15 years.
We have.
And you've helped so many of my clients get into homes across Central Texas. So thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, David.
So I don't only consider you a top lender, an expert in the field, but also a tremendous educator in investment in life. Tell us a little bit about how you teach people to make the best decisions with their real estate investments in their life.
David, that's a great question. Everybody's situation is so different. And so it's really, it's personalized to them. So, but how do we do that? It really comes to do with the more than 20 years of experience that I have in this industry. And prior to that, I was a financial advisor for 3 years. So I approach everything with a global approach on really how all the pieces of the puzzle are going to fit together. And what we've learned is doing what's important for clients, putting their goals and needs first, as well as then you making it all about the numbers. And so there is a way to actually have all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. And so we've really gotten really good at that over time. And built all the spreadsheets that have it really dumb it down per se, so that it's not intimidating or overwhelming, and it can help people actually see and accomplish their goals, or how they're going to accomplish their goals if they can't accomplish them today. So we'll even give them a roadmap in the event that this is how we're going to go about building a real estate portfolio, or this is how we're going to get you where you want to go. With purchasing this primary residence and then moving up over time, or whatever it might look like based on whatever their goals are.
That's huge. And again, what we both do is we help people accomplish their goals. And you know, I consider myself a teacher. I know you're a teacher. We've actually taught together.
And we still like each other.
And we still like each other. So interest rates.
Yeah.
They're dramatically different than they were 18 months ago, right?
Well, yeah, well, that's an understatement.
Yeah. So even though there is this delta, can you put those interest rates in a historical perspective?
Yeah, that is a great question, because we do really have to take a look at that. I think the challenge really is about perspective. As a home buying community, we've lost perspective of really what an interest rate generally will look like over a 30 or 40 year period of time. When you put it into a 30-year period of time, 7.5% is an average interest rate. Now, over the last 10 years, our 6.75% interest rate is a little higher than the norm. But you know what they're seeing is that there's a correlation to home values and interest rates. And David, when do you try to coach people on when to buy? You want to buy kind of when things are going down, right?
When they're going down. And you can never predict the bottom, right?
You really can't. But what we did find is that when interest rates are higher, sellers are more motivated.
Right.
And so if a lot of our clients are like, I'm going to wait for rates to come down. Well, when you actually look at the inventory and you also talk to any of your friends that also think they're going to wait till rates are coming down.
Right.
Guess who you're going to be competing against for that next house?
Everybody.
That's right. So the right time to actually buy a home is when interest rates are higher, home prices tend to be lower, or you're able to get a better deal. Then when interest rates are lower, your home prices are higher, and you pay a premium.
Right, because you're in competition.
You're in a lot of competition.
That makes sense.
And since we don't have any inventory or massive amounts of inventory coming to the market anytime soon, and we have really a significant inventory shortage, at least until 2030 is what all of the reports are saying that we are coming across. Unless you plan on waiting until after 2030 to buy a home, it really trying to find something that fits your budget today is going to be a good move.
Right, because if you know, honestly, if you're renting, then you're paying someone else's mortgage instead of building equity in yours.
Yeah, and losing control of what your monthly mortgage payment is.
Correct.
I don't want somebody else in charge of my monthly mortgage payment.
No, not at all. All right, let me ask you this. So buying a home often a chaotic journey. Can you tell me about one of the weirdest or wackiest calls you've gotten from one of your clients? I know that one's a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah. Well, one person asked to, these days, in order you to take advantage of tax strategies,
right.
So if you're self-employed, you can employ your kids. And one of them wanted to put their 4 kids on there because she paid him $1,500 a month. And actually that income would have allowed them to get approved. The difference was that none of them were 18 yet. And so that was one that we had to work through and adjust and actually found out you can't add somebody to a loan unless they're 18.
There you go.
In a conventional market.
Okay, well,
So,
that's good to know. Good to know. What brings you joy outside of your business?
Obviously my passion is spending time with my son.
Yes.
I have a 12-year-old son, and so of course Tammy, my other half. But aside from that, I mean, I really love to fish, and so freshwater fishing or bay fishing is really my jam. So that's what I look forward to, get excited about. Those are the magazines I subscribe to, bay fishing magazines and bass fishing magazines. So yeah.
What's your biggest catch? I got to know.
Well, freshwater, it would be a striper in Lake Austin, which is a really unique fish to be in Lake Austin. It was 38 pounds and
38 pounds striper,
48 inches long.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What did you pull that up on?
Well, I was bass fishing.
I know.
I fish on New Year's Day every year because I have the whole lake to myself. I'm out there early in the morning. There's nobody else out there because they're usually hungover or nursing themselves from the night before. And I was bass fishing, and matter of fact, so I caught it on 10-pound test on a bass.
A 10-pound test.
Yeah. And I fought it for over 30 minutes, and it was right under the Texas top 50 for a striped bass in the whole state of Texas.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if it had been 39 pounds, it would have made the top 50. So it was. They don't measure anything under the top 50, but it was right there. So that was my biggest freshwater.
That's a big moment. What about salt?
Yeah, saltwater. I did go on one deep sea fishing trip out to the oil rigs, and I caught a 78-pound amberjack, which was pretty cool. It's
a big fish.
It was, but I did learn that I really didn't care much for saltwater fishing.
No.
I like the casting. It's very. It's almost a meditation.
Therapeutic almost.
Therapeutic, thank you.
Yeah.
So when you're out deep sea, it's more trolling, and that I found that it was a good experience because I found that I wasn't my jam.
There you go.
So yeah.
All right. So what strategies are you using to help your clients today get into their dream homes in the lending climate that we have? So is there a program that you're helping folks with? Is it buy downs? What are you doing?
Great question. It ultimately is, of course, based on the situation. So there's lots of different ways to tackle it. But most people would really like a lower interest rate.
Yeah.
And because lower interest rate drives payment. And of course, we all want to have as much of a house we can get for the lowest amount of payment that we can have, right? I mean,
who doesn't?
Not rocket science.
No.
So there is a combination of programs that we put together in order to achieve that. And some of what we have found is a lot of lenders, while these programs have been around for over 40 years, a lot of lenders have only heard of them in name and haven't really specialized in these buy-down programs.
So no practical knowledge.
No practical knowledge. And so most of them are very familiar with permanent buy-down strategies, and what we are bringing to the table with an expertise, a level of expertise, or temporary buy-down strategies. For example, we were able to we closed on one about a month ago where we got the interest rate down to 3.49%. And that's right, 3.49%.
Amazing.
It's a 30-year fixed interest rate product, but it has some temporary buy downs in it. And so that was really incredible. And we work strategically with the real estate agent so that we can position the negotiations correctly so that the seller actually is paying for these costs. And
That's the ticket right there.
That's where it really gets sweet, and it even is sweeter. There's a cherry on top to where there's funds that are left over in the account. If they do a refinance inside the temporary buy down years, there's money left over, and more times than not, that there's enough money in there to actually pay for a refinance.
Wow.
For the permanent 30-year fixed strategy. And so we've actually crafted a way for people to have their cake and eat it too. Meaning,
that's creative, man.
Thank you.
I hadn't heard that yet. So
well,
that's awesome.
No, thanks. So when we're getting interest rates into the high 3s, low 4s for people, and then when rates do drop, then they can actually do a permanent refinance with money that's from the seller, right? So it's like a true. It's a refinance paid for by the seller. The seller's paying for the interest rate to get you into the 3s and the 4s, and then they're actually paying for your future refinance.
Literally one of the most creative strategies I've heard to date. So great job.
Well, thank you. We've gotten really, really good at it, and again, we're not even hearing people talk about it to a level of expertise. Or
like I said, I hadn't heard of it. So
that says a lot.
I've got 18 years
actually.
of experience in the business, and I hadn't heard of that yet. So I'm a bit of an Instagram stalker. So bear with me. You have a quote on your Instagram. Rich Dad once says, "It's more important to grow your income than cut your expenses. It's more important to grow your spirit than cut your dreams." Tell me about that.
Well, I get goosebumps when that is one that's super close to home. It's all about really investing in yourself. And Warren Buffett says, instead of his big thing is invest in yourself. Take those courses, elevate your game. No matter what, always be improving. And I believe no matter what the market or their environment is, there's always people in need.
Yeah.
And when we can go out and create solutions to solve that need or that problem or solve that pain, you're able to help a lot more people achieve their goals and dreams. In turn, it helps us achieve our financial goals and dreams too.
Yep.
And so I really believe at looking at things from every different angle. And the ones that usually do the best are the ones that go against the grain.
It's true. When people zig, you zag.
That's right.
And then we always zig because Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want. You can help yourself get what you want. That's awesome.
When you put others first, great things happen.
Exactly.
Which is where you and I align really well.
Well, that's why we're partnered together.
Yeah.
So, because we do align that way. Yeah. Now, before we wrap up, if anyone's watching, which hopefully there are, and listening, and wants to get in touch with you or come check out your services, how can they do that?
Yeah, thank you. You'd find me at www. Of course, H for home, T for town, Texas, TEXAS.com. So HTTexas.com. And again, I'm Ryan Leahy. I'm the regional president for the state of Texas. And my cell phone number is 512-785-9619.
Sweet. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Shady Corner. If you like the show, hit that like button, smash it. If you didn't like that show, dislike it, but tell me why. If you have questions, feedbacks, or opinions, or if you want to share, comment below, please. If you're buying a house in the next 10 days or the next 10 months, let me know. I'm your Greater Shady Hollow expert, and thank you. Yeah. I'm an associate broker at Revel Property Group, and even if you just want to know what your home is worth, just let me know. David Schneider, Revel Property Group of EXP. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.